Hey everyone, just wanted to check in here. Been doing some reflection, and time management has been, a key word this week for me, as far as or just a word of just reflection and this lesson learned this week. I don't know how to really put it, but essentially, let me kind of catch you guys up. So last week, me and my wife, we went on a little stroll. Here in Atlanta, we have this thing called the Beltline, essentially this walking loop. And while we were on the Beltline, we were talking about just my goal of being more consistent with my posting on YouTube. And, while we were talking, a big thing that came up for her, I'm expressing the issues that I'm having as far as editing and the time that takes. Sometimes not knowing the direction I want to go with my follow up or next video all the time. So that kind of, you know, hinders me from recording. Not feeling like I know the right topic or the direction just yet that I even want to take with this channel. And overall, just get to the point here. One of the things she kind of mentioned was just prioritization. That kind of came up for her, and she started just probing questions to me and just overall about my editing process and what am I doing, why am I doing certain things. And the big lesson that came up with it is we often feel like we have an issue with time management, right? And it's like, oh, I don't have enough time, especially, you know, we may have a lot of demands on our time, regardless of what it is you may be doing, whatever your situation may be, you have a lot of demands on your time, and then you're also trying to build a side hustle of some sort, whether it's YouTube or a consulting studio or, real estate, whatever it is for you. We got things on that are demanding on our time, and we also have dreams and aspirations and things we're trying to do. So we all have that feeling of hey, how do I kind of deal with time management? I have a lot to do, not a lot of time to do it, and she just kind of said prioritization is it's one thing to understand that, hey, we don't have that much time, but what are you doing with the time that you do have? So with regards to YouTube and content creation and really my video production process, we kind of narrowed in hey, editing is the that takes up the most time to getting a video up, essentially. Partly recording as well, especially the time it takes to get to a video being recorded, but for the most part, it's around the editing. Editing can take time, especially as a new person to Premiere Pro, where still kind of figure out different things, and then there's also the desire to maybe try different tricks or animations on my video to kind of make my things more engaging. And we kind of did a little double click into why am I doing that right now? In this season of my channel where I'm brand new, I don't have that big of an audience, there's not that much people watching me. Why am I so, interested and heavily invested in video production quality, and animations and getting creating engaging content, so then we kind of dove deep into that a bit more and understanding, hey, what are you even doing YouTube for? For me, it's okay, I'm trying to build an audience that ultimately I want to provide a service to through my coaching, career coaching. That's, ultimately what my channel is for, Some people create YouTube channels strictly for entertainment, so the type of video you create is dependent upon the type of audience you're trying to serve, and the ultimate why behind why you even have your YouTube channel. So I realized like trying to create, or we realized, I'll say, the YouTube, my audience is more transactional. They're coming to learn something really quick, and the video, hey, this video taught me this thing. Thank you very much. I'm on to the next thing. Why? Because I already have a limited amount of time. I'm trying to learn as much as I can, as quick as I can. So, expecting a like or comment or even a subscribe from that person, you know, may not is maybe too much of an expectation, and they may not even be interested in how engaging my content may be. As long as it delivered on what the it was packaged to deliver, and like offers value to them in that way, I think that that's what's most important. So all that to say, it just came to realize like, hey, Sav, understanding your why behind your YouTube channel. You don't need to be so focused on, you know, how your jump cuts look, or, zooming in and zooming out, or different animations, and or, words on screen, text on screen kind of things. Like that can come at a later season of your channel. Right now, you want to continue to develop the skill of delivering on your message in the most succinct and, I would say well packaged way. Maybe that's, for lack of better terms, I'll say. And once we are confident and feel we are like, hey, doing well as far as content and message delivery, then we can work on like, hey, how do we now make the video more engaging? And maybe even like when we grow to a point where we can outsource that, because that is not my main strength, we can lean into outsourcing that type of, or that part of this video production process. But for now, I think with my goal of video output consistency, I had to realize that my current habits in that, hey, focusing so much attention on the editing of a video was not in alignment with the goal that I wanted to achieve, in that being increasing the output of videos and being consistent with that. Consistent being at least one video per week. And those who've been kind of here with me since I've started in earlier this year, guys know I haven't released a video every week, and there were some things that I allowed to take higher priority over my time than YouTube, ultimately. And I had to be realistic and realize that, and it goes back to like prioritization. We all don't have that much time. How are you using that time? And are you, especially in my sense, or for the person who's building a YouTube channel as their side hustle, or for, their, marketing avenue for their business, are you doing the necessary YouTube activities in the time that you do have? Or I'll say that differently. Are you doing the needle moving YouTube activities in the little bit of time that you do have to work on your YouTube? And I think I've noticed, like, what is the needle moving activity in the context of YouTube? For me, I think that's recording a video. Because once you have the video recorded, the ball's in your court there, as far as like how long it'll take you to edit or get started on editing. And you can't post on YouTube unless you have some video recorded to post. So not only is it like the first step, but it is like, it's really half the battle, and the more I delay or let other things come in the way or take higher priority of recording videos, the less output of videos I will have. And therefore, once again, my habits or behaviors, I'll say, because maybe it's not a habit because I'm still new to it, but the behaviors that I have towards this right now are not in alignment with the goal that I see for myself in this. So it was just a big, like, you know, you can't be focused on this editing right now. That's not the focus. Right now, you want to be getting your message out and focusing on your delivery and, getting that video up. Let's get those reps in, ultimately. And let the crowd, let the audience tell me how the videos are. No one has commented really negatively or badly about like the video production. Actually, I've had a couple positive comments, but I haven't really had much negative feedback. Everything has been constructive criticism, and I have to realize that everyone has different points of view, and I have to do ultimately what works for me in my lifestyle, the demands that. Yeah, sorry, my camera died, but essentially, I was saying I have to be realistic with my situation and the demands on my time and how I have to approach my YouTube channel and my video production right now in this season. So yeah, so that's really cool. That's kind of it as far as like that part. And I just want us to be considerate of once again, how are you using the little bit of time that you do have? And there's different approaches that one can take as far as time management. And I think like there's two ways that I've kind of done in the past, and really depending upon what season of life I'm kind of in, I kind of fluctuate between the two. And I think one can take the more structured approach, which is like, hey, creating time blocks for the different activities that you need to do, especially for like that side hustle. For me, YouTube, or spending time on my business. Like you need to time block certain times out of your week to do so. Now, I've tried that. It's not always the most successful, because you do have to consider like there are things that pop up. Some things or some appointments take longer than others, and life kind of happens at times. So another approach I've taken is just to ultimately be flexible, but hold yourself accountable to completing whatever it is that you said you wanted to complete. So, for example, hey, you have a goal you set for to accomplish this week. Maybe you said you wanted to do it by Wednesday. Get whatever it is you need to get done by Wednesday. Wednesday comes and it's like, hey, some other things popped up and it's not looking like you're going to be able to finish that thing on Wednesday. So what do? Make the shift, adapt, be flexible, and say, hey, I understand I can't do this today or get this done by Wednesday, but how else can I shift my schedule for the rest of the week to still ensure that this gets done this week? And maybe it's not about, hey, I got this, or it's not about the daily wins, but maybe the week average, overall, So really hold yourself accountable, ultimately, is what I'm trying to say. And like, you can be flexible, but it's still about, hey, executing and having the self-discipline to like say, hey, I'm not gonna take a structured approach to this, but I'm gonna use the time when I do have the time effectively to get whatever it is that I said I want to get done. And that's kind of it, as far as like my time management reflection this week. And ultimately my takeaway was just, Sav, you have to be more intentional with how you're using your time, ultimately. So not only your time at work, so things at work don't carry on outside of work, which end up digging into time for your business or your family or your life in general or your personal care. Like, so there's, in all aspects of my life, am I being intentional with the time that I'm devoting toward it? Am I doing the needle moving tasks in the time that I do have for those different areas of my life? And I think as long as we are striving to continue to do the needle moving tasks, then we should make good progress ultimately, and we should feel good about the progress we make, because we know we are putting in the intentional, like I said, needle moving work, So that's kind of it. I'm not going to drain this one. I'm really curious to understand how you guys are approaching your time management. So please let me know in the comments if you're like, if you prefer structured, comment structure, and if you prefer a flexible approach, comment flexible. I'm curious to know which ones, or how much of our audience is which, and yeah. So thank you for the time. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I'll catch you in the next one.